Day 67, and first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you who shared and commented and sent comments and messages and texts and phone calls regarding yesterday's video. That was a really hard day for all of Montana, and I really feel like we're getting the message out. I did an interview this morning with Montana Public Radio, and I'll let you know when that's going to air. And I got some texts from people I can tell are a little bit worried about me. You don't need to worry about me. I will be fine. You do need to worry about Montana. This is pretty serious stuff that's happening, but we have complete and total control over this situation. Please don't watch these videos and think that there's nothing we can do about it. It's the people's government. The government is people. So there is hope. And thank you for your concern and your encouragement. And thank you for paying attention and being involved. I wore to the Capitol today my Frankenstein earrings. They're guitar picks that musician friend of mine gave to me a couple of years ago, and I was glad I had hauled them up today because I thought it was the perfect thing to wear to the Capitol, because if you remember in Young Frankenstein, Frankenstein ended up with an abnormal brain, and I think that's what you'd have to vote against Medicaid expansion. And sad to say it, but this might be what Montanans end up looking like if we don't give them health care. My seatmate thought it was really, really funny, and it kind of made me giggle to myself all day long. So all of you Montana-made, beer-loving people, I have an update on the anti-brewery bill. This morning, the sponsor of the bill requested to have executive action delayed until next Wednesday. He doesn't have the votes to get it passed, and I think he's probably going to spend the break working on that. I hope that next Wednesday he still does not have the votes to make it pass. So while the representatives on the Business and Labor Committee are home for the break, I would find their phone number and call them. Sorry guys if you're watching this on the committee and you just heard me say that, but if that's what it's going to take to make sure you vote the right way, then that's what it takes. The sponsor of the bill is trying to say that the opponent, who was a lawyer and said that it opens Montana up to lawsuits, was wrong. And the Tavern Association has several lawyers who are writing letters to the committee and to that effect. But I happen to know, thanks to the hard work of the executive director of the Brewers Association, that the official legal decision of the Department of Revenue is that the opponent's testimony was exactly right, and this bill actually does open the state of Montana up to future litigation. And Tony Herbert, has been working so hard on this. He is such a great advocate for the brewers, and whether you agree with him or not, you brewers out there, you should definitely be giving him your support and getting behind him. He's one of the people in the Capitol who is truly working for human beings, and I can see that it's wearing him down, just like it's wearing me down. On the floor today, we heard House Bill 357, which would allow parents to take their kids out of school, public schools, but keep the federal A and B money in their own private savings account. And then if there were any extra left over after they pay for private schools, they could keep that for a college savings account. So the school would continue to keep the kids on their enrollment list so that they can get the federal money for them and then pass it on through to the parents. It seems kind of dishonest to me, not to mention all of the huge legal issues with it, like making sure that special needs students have a free and adequate public education. It's called a FAPE, F-A-P-E-E. It's kind of important. It failed, so hopefully we can keep that down. House Bill 581 strips all tax credits except for a few. And so it was a 92-page bill. I've seen some long bills, but I have yet to see one that's actually printed in half size on both sides of the paper. And I just wanted to read to you what tax credits this bill strips. The college contribution credit, the alternative fuel conversion, health insurance for uninsured Montanans, new or expanded industry credit, elderly care, recycling deduction, the contractor's gross receipts, the geothermal heating system, alternative energy production, dependent care assistance, historic property preservation, infrastructure users fee, empowerment zone, research credit, mineral exploration, film employment, film expenditure, the adoption credit, the film employment refundable credit, and the temporary emergency lodging credit. So here is an attempt under the guise of simplifying the Montana tax code to gut the tax credits that middle income workers use. These people hate you. They want to take $23 million of your money, and remember, they're going to give it to out-of-state property owners and out-of-state businesses. And this bill was actually amended to take out 4 additional credits that weren't in the bill, to take out a credit for employing and retaining veterans, 2 credits that go to private schools, and a credit for access to state lands. That amendment passed, so in addition to the tax credits that I just read, these 4 additional tax credits will no longer be available to middle income earners in Montana, who are the people who use them. That passed. And then lastly, but not least, House Bill 589 would establish an oil and gas tax trust fund. We already have a coal tax trust fund, and the opponents against this say we should take away your tax credits and give permanent tax relief to out-of-state landowners and out-of-state businesses. But when it comes to tax those companies for doing business in Montana and then using them to help you, they're against it. And remember that you and I and all of our friends and neighbors who live in Montana, we own those natural resources. They belong to us. They're our natural resources. And so if the state is going to sell those on our behalf, we should be getting something for it. Are you getting anything for it? Bills like this make it really, really obvious who is heavily influenced by the oil and gas lobbyists. There is no other reason to stand up against this bill. It's fiscally conservative to save money and use them for things that benefit us. By the way, this bill, House Bill 589, would actually just put this issue to a vote by the people. So if this bill passes on 3rd reading, it will just put it to a vote of the people. But 47 people voted against it today, and it needs 60 people on 3rd reading to put it on the ballot. So we need 7 more people to vote for this on 3rd reading on Tuesday in order for this issue to go to the ballot as to whether or not Montana should have an oil and gas tax trust fund. You might want to get on the phone. Have a great weekend. Thank you so, so much for your encouragement and for paying attention. We can change things. Bye.